Hey everyone, Thyworm here with an updated guide to rolling waystones in Solar Self-Found. I will explain an efficient way to roll waystones and I will give you my thought process on which currency to use when, since you have limited supplies in Solar Self-Found. There are two things you must do before you get into the game itself. Links are in the description for both of these. First, a third-party tool called Exiled Exchange 2. This is the Path of Exile 2 version of Awakened Trade in Path of Exile 1. This tool allows you to easily filter map modifiers. Just install the tool like I do, run it, you will see a little icon in Windows, and when you start the game while this tool is already running, you get a notification as well. Second, Google PoE regex and navigate to the PoE2 regex site. I set up two things here after navigating to the Waystone section. First, I select on the right side all the mods that I don't want to run. This entirely depends on your build, but there are some universal ones I feel you don't want to run, such as lower maximum resistances, temporal chains, or additional projectiles. Those are bad for almost any build. Second, on the left, you can select good modifiers, and I'm specifically going to select 3 of these which I feel you want on as many waystones as possible, which are pack size, hybrid increased quantity and rarity, and increased rarity. Those modifiers yield much better results from your waystones, so they are worth highlighting. Now I'm going to log into the game and I press Shift plus Spacebar, which should bring up the overlay from Exiled Exchange 2. In here you will see a menu called Map Rolling and you can edit this menu by selecting Edit. This brings you to the settings, and if you click Add, you can add a new regex string. Go to the PoE regex 2 website, copy the regex that you just created with all of the modifiers that you don't want, paste it in the field that says regex in game, give the regex a friendly name, in my case monk unwanted modifiers, and press save. For the positive modifiers, I repeat this exercise. I do the exact same thing, select the modifiers from the website that I want on my waystones, copy the regex from the website, paste it into the field in the overlay, give it a name, in my case great mods, and press save. Now both regex strings show up when you press Shift plus Spacebar under their friendly name. You're all set up, it's time to roll. I have set up 2 quad tabs for this exercise, but there's no need to worry about this. You don't need these quad tabs, you can even use the map stash itself these days. I just like to be able to organize them in a quad tab and it's what I'm used to. First, I get all my tier 15 maps I farmed yesterday and I put them in the quad tab. Make sure they're identified. Then I get a bunch of currency into my inventory. I need all of these for rolling the waystones. Then it's time to bring up Exiled Exchange 2 by pressing Shift plus Spacebar and I select Unwanted Mods. All waystones that are grayed out have unwanted mods, so I remove those. I use Ctrl-click to directly put them in my inventory and I just sell these to the vendor. There's no real use for these waystones. In case you have lower level waystones, lower than tier 15, you can reforge them 3-to-1 and you can get higher tier waystones like this. But with tier 15 waystones, that is not an option. What I'm left with is a quad tab full of waystones with mods I like or with no mods at all. From here on, I take it one step at a time to save currency. On normal waystones, those without mods, you can either use Orbs of Alchemy or Orbs of Transmutation, depending on which ones you have. Using Orbs of Alchemy on waystones is a good idea though, as it guarantees 4 mods, which is pretty good. I'm using both currencies in this clip. After this initial round of currency, I check again for bad mods because I don't want to spend additional currency on already bricked waystones with bad mods. I pick out the bad waystones, put them in my inventory, sell them, and then it's time for the Orbs of Augmentation. After the round of the Orb of Augmentation is done, it is time again to check for bad mods. I find a bunch, that's how it goes, and then it's another round of applying currency, this time Regal Orbs. It is another currency that you find plenty of after playing endgame for a while. They're all regold now, all of these waystones. I check again for bad mods, pick out the bad waystones, and now we change things up a little bit as the remainder of this quad tab is all rare waystones. Now it's time to check for great mods by selecting that one in Exiled Exchange. Reason why is that if you have limited currency, as you tend to have in Solar Self-Found, you would rather invest that currency into waystones that already have good mods. This is the reason for the other regex, so I am highlighting those and I'm spending a single round of Exalted Orbs on them. After that single round, I check for bad mods, pick out the bad waystones and rinse and repeat. It is up to you if you want to fill up these waystones all the way to the maximum 6 modifiers. That is a risk, of course, as with 6 mods, you only get one attempt at completing the map. You can also stop at 4 or 5 mods and save some currency, that's perfectly viable as well. But I have a solid build, I usually don't die, so I can complete these waystones even with 6 modifiers. Just keep in mind, there is no need to get 6 modifiers on all of these. I rinse and repeat this process, and once I'm done or once I'm happy with the number of mods on a waystone, the waystones that rolled with great mods and no bad mods all go in my inventory and I transfer them to a new tab and give them a spot in the middle. These are the waystones I'm going to use on areas in the Atlas that are very juicy with several towers and tablets overlapping, so I get the most out of them. That also pretty much guarantees you get your investment back. If you use these waystones randomly without tablets as well, it's likely you're going to lose currency, at least there's that risk, and that's pretty terrible in Solar Self-Found. On the remainder of the waystones, I apply additional Exalted Orbs I am willing to spare, as I also need Exalted Orbs for crafting my gear, and because these waystones have less modifiers and are less impactful in that sense, and because I have plenty of Val Orbs that I'm not using, I corrupt all of these at the end, hoping to gain some more modifiers or gain a map tier. After the round of corruption, check for bad mods one last time, get them out, sell those, and then move all of the waystones that are left to your inventory and stash them in the other quad tab. These are the waystones I use to travel towards towers and unlock those. They still have plenty of interesting stuff in them, but they're not for the juiced areas. You do one more great mods check because the corruption could have added some of the great modifiers, which in my case happened, quite a bit actually. I placed these also in the middle, and from the 110 or so waystones that I started with, roughly half of those are now ready to go and the other half got bricked and sold. And by just doing this simple exercise, which really doesn't take you all that long if you take these methods, you have a bunch of waystones that are good enough for a few hours of endgame grinding, in which you will make back the currency and, most likely, a hell of a lot more. I have no issues at least sustaining, as long as you know when to use which waystone. I hope this guide was useful and helps you out when rolling maps in Solar Self-Found by conserving as much currency as possible and providing you with maps that you can run with your build. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Please like and subscribe for more SSF Path of Exile 2 content. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.